Picture the ultimate billionaire flex, the private box, the handshakes at midfield, and your name stitched into a jersey nobody else will ever see. But the financial reality behind that prestige is counterintuitive. If you run the franchise as a business that strictly plays a sport, you will likely lose millions of dollars every single year. In 1989, oil executive Jerry Jones paid roughly $140 million for a struggling football team that was losing $1 million a month. At the time, observers across the sport thought he had made a catastrophic financial error. That franchise hasn't reached a championship game in 30 years, yet today it is valued at approximately $13 billion. This pattern repeats across the globe. One elite European soccer club recently reported a pre-tax loss exceeding $260 million in a single season, a deficit that would cripple most traditional companies. During that same period, the club's valuation climbed past $4 billion. If the everyday math of selling tickets and hot dogs is bleeding money, what hidden machinery is actually driving these record-breaking valuations? Buying a sports team involves paying a massive premium to enter a tightly guarded, closed ecosystem. These leagues operate on the logic of artificial scarcity. While anyone with enough capital can open a coffee shop across from a competitor, you cannot launch a second version of a major league team in the same city without the league's permission. By rule, the supply of franchises remains permanently capped. That fixed supply allows owners to dominate the last truly unskippable property in media, live sports. Because viewers still insist on watching games as they happen, advertisers pay an enormous premium for that guaranteed real-time attention. This premium translates into staggering broadcast contracts. American football's current national media deals are worth $110 billion combined, while basketball's next package is valued around $76 billion. This national money gets divided roughly evenly among every team in the league. A franchise that finishes at the very bottom of the standings collects a broadcast check nearly identical to the one sent to the league champion. Winning on the field barely impacts this revenue stream. Merely existing in this artificially scarce ecosystem is what guarantees the payday. In a standard competitive market, the richest owners in the biggest cities would simply buy every star player and permanently dominate the league. Because predictable outcomes lose viewers, owners enforce strict parity. They protect the value of the entire club by socializing financial risk across the league. Revenue sharing stabilizes the league. Rich, massive markets contribute their local earnings into a central pool, redistributing to ensure smaller markets stay solvent.
Labor costs are also strictly controlled. Hard salary caps on roster spending prevent billionaires from entering bidding wars that threaten profit margins. This system only falters when the players and owners stop agreeing. During the 1994 baseball strike, revenue streams for tickets and broadcasts instantly stopped, while the fixed costs of stadium debt and player contracts continued to accrue. The resulting financial damage ran into the hundreds of millions. These leagues function as legalized cartels. They guarantee revenues and cap costs to manufacture uncertainty for fans while removing financial risk for the owners. With broadcast money secured and labor costs capped, the largest expense on the ledger is the stadium. Modern venues now cost well over $1 billion. Because teams are scarce, owners have significant leverage over their host cities. By threatening to relocate to a team-hungry city, owners often force local governments to use taxpayer dollars to fund the majority of construction costs. Once built, the stadium becomes a private cash machine. High-margin revenue from luxury suites and corporate naming rights often stays with the owner, exempt from the revenue-sharing formulas used for standard tickets and broadcasts. Smart owners have expanded this strategy into year-round real estate empires. They develop multi-acre neighborhoods around the stadium, hotels, offices, and retail that collect rent every single day of the year, regardless of whether a game is being played. Robert Kraft represents the success of this model. In 1994, he paid $227 million for a team, its stadium lease, and the surrounding land. By capitalizing on rising media rights and developing that real estate, he grew that asset into a staggering $9 billion valuation. The modern sports franchise is a real estate and media company that fields a team specifically to draw the crowd. This reality makes the year-to-year operating profit on the team's ledger essentially a footnote.
An owner can lose tens of millions in a single season and still see their net worth skyrocket. The true financial return is compounding asset appreciation. You are holding a permanently scarce slice of an ever-expanding media and real estate empire that has historically grown at rates between 10 and 15% a year. There is also a final, intangible return: exclusivity. Thousands of billionaires exist, but there are only roughly 150 major franchises. Owning one is an invitation into a room that almost no one else on Earth can enter. Ownership buys unparalleled political and social influence. A city eager to keep its team will often provide tax breaks or zoning favors for an owner's other businesses, while the stadium suite itself becomes one of the most effective rooms in the world for closing massive, non-sporting deals. While fans spend their time watching the scoreboard, the owners are watching the architecture of a business designed to never lose. They are focused on the next media negotiation, the next stadium deal, and the next parcel of land. Once you understand this hidden structure, you will never look at a game the same way again.